This is Laura Albers. Jill, you want to go ahead and introduce her?
Well, sure. I work with Laura with SLO Climate Coalition, and so she's our new director of the ResilientSLO program, and so I really have been waiting to get the mothers involved with it because I think we're a perfect little micro community for it. So I think we'll just let her get started, explain it all to us and show it to us, and then we'll have time for questions as well.
Yeah, and if you would just go ahead and everyone, so that just in case something happens in your background, it doesn't disturb.
Awesome. Okay, so that's it. I get to get right into this, right? This is your annual meeting, but I get to lead it off, yeah? I feel really good. Actually, I'm really happy, you guys. I'm counting on you all to center me back in the reality in this next hour or so, because I had really weird dreams early morning. And there are those dreams where they're so weird, they kind of half wake you up, but you can't quite get awake. And so you're still kind of sleeping in this weird dream and you're like, what is going on? So I appreciate this opportunity because we get to talk about the actual things that are going on in the real world and not in my dream world. So thank you all for doing that. So yes, as Jill said, I have recently come on board just as of October with SLO Climate Coalition to run the ResilientSLO program. I am a nonprofit consultant, have a few other clients as well, but majority of my time is spent doing this. If you have heard of Micro Community Collaborative, which because it's a mouthful was shortened to MCC a lot, that was the origination of what is now being called the ResilientSLO program. And so similar things, and it's looking at getting little communities together to create resilient communities, right? So we all need each other, we can rely on each other, we can share information, learn from each other, and become more resilient as we take actions to fight climate change, as well as a host of other ills in our societies, right? So that was the origination. I'm going to go ahead and share my slide share my slides. Well, yeah, I guess I will be sharing my slides by sharing my screen. Let's see here. Okay. So are you seeing the slideshow? Yes. Okay, great. All right. So SLO Climate Coalition, this is who I am. We're going to go to the next slide here. In case you are not familiar with SLO Climate Coalition, this is the vision and the mission. We are really looking at community building to become resilient, climate resilient here on the Central Coast is the main thing. You want more information on that, go ahead and go to the website. A few of the most recent accomplishments that SLO Climate Coalition gets to clap for are listed here. SLO Climate Coalition, in its previous iteration, SLO Clean Energy, was, if you don't know, really the critical driving force to getting community choice aggregate energy here on the Central Coast. So that's where it started, and it has now continued and grown into other climate actions. We work really closely right now with the city of San Luis Obispo. They're very supportive of, obviously, not just climate action, with this audacious goal to go carbon neutral by 2035, but also with what we are doing. They recognize that we have incredible value as a community partner in the work that they are trying to accomplish, that they have limited capacity, and they are happy to partner and rely on us for time and energy, and also knowledge and expertise. So it's been a really great partnership. These are the current programs that SLO Climate Coalition is really focusing on. ResilientSLO is what I'm leading, and I will talk to you a ton about that in a second. Uniting the Central Coast for Action is a group that focuses a little bit more on policy, legislative issues, better building SLO. I don't know too much about yet, but obviously it's looking at how we build here, and how we can make that carbon footprint less. And then green transportation, which is a huge program of ours as well, very active. If you haven't been to one of the green events in March, please make sure to come in this coming year. They're really fun. You can drive EV vehicles and all sorts of stuff. And I'll tell you a little bit more about a really cool green transportation thing I learned from the website from ResilientSLO in a little bit. So that's a little bit about SLO Climate Coalition. And then I am here just to talk to you about ResilientSLO. So curious, with maybe a show of hands, if you know how to do the hands, has anybody here already been to, ooh, I see a couple of my fellows, fantastic. Okay, fellows, now that I see that you're on, I am going to say hi to you later on in this presentation, so be ready for that. Okay, how many here other than my fellows are aware of the ResilientSLO site and have maybe even set up an account on ResilientSLO already? Jill, you almost don't count, but yeah, okay. Okay, and Jane and Linda. Okay, great, wonderful. Okay, so this is what we're going to go through is what is this for, why is it here, and why would you maybe want to utilize it? Well, the main thing ResilientSLO is here to put the word out about is that you, no matter who you are, you can make a difference when it comes to taking climate action. So I know that a lot of us get really overwhelmed with thinking, you know, obviously, and you know, I'm speaking to the choir here, right, with Mother's Feast, but you know, climate change is this big, huge thing, and what am I, a single person, going to do about it? Or what am I, even a renter, you know, a low-income renter? How can I make any difference? Well, we have a site here that can identify actions every single person, no matter who you are, no matter what your lifestyle is, your life situation. We have this portal that we can help you find something that you can do and have fun doing it. So I'm curious if you all know what percentage of the US's total emissions, so just for the United States of America, what percentage of the US's total emissions come from basic household activities? So activities that are connected to people in their homes or running their home personal business. Any ideas? Oh, wait, I don't see that. Yeah.
Again, I need to ask whether this is inclusive or exclusive of transportation. In other words,
Really?
is the home, or does household also the activities of the household? Because you get a different answer.
That's a very, very good question. And that is pertinent to how you answer this. And if you know the answer already, you can't say no. Yes, what I'm asking for is the transportation that is connected to your own household. So not the transportation in a truck bringing you something that you ordered online and it's shipping to you, right? But the transportation that you would go to the grocery store, to go to work, to drive kids to soccer practice.
Yeah, and we will have times for questions and discussion after her.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so actually, if you didn't know it, because I don't have any guesses here.
I'll guess 17%.
Okay, I guessed about 20% first.
I guess for, oh, okay.
Well, it's too late now, Jill. So yeah,
Okay.
actually 40% of our country's emissions come from things that we individuals are doing. So it's not just the big actors, it's us too. So that might kind of feel like, oh no, what are we doing? But then it also points out the fact that we have agency in this. We actually do have power to make things better. So, oops, wait, going back one. So these are the categories. So as was pointed out earlier, right? Part of that 40% is transportation, and that's a big part of it. So how we get to places we go to. Some people have a question about spending. Spending is, like I mentioned earlier, you know, choosing to go to Humankind to buy a basket versus ordering it off Amazon, right? So that's the spending category, how we choose to spend our dollars. So if you consider that, you can understand that we all really have the power to do something. All right. So here's what we're here to talk about. We're talking about ResilientSLO.org. This is a platform. It's a web-based platform where you can create an account, set your baseline carbon footprint with some information that you'd like to put in, and then start to research and find out about areas where you can make action. And when you do that, it tells you what that effect will be as far as lessening your carbon footprint, as well as estimates on money, whether it's going to cost you money or save you money. It's another thing that a lot of people like to hear about, is that a lot of these actions actually will save you money. So yay. Okay, so what I would like to do now, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. So, oh, actually, I might be able to, maybe I set it up this way. I'm going to switch to the website. So let me see. Did that switch for you? Yes. Great. So you're seeing.
Yes, we see.
Sweet. Okay, good. I set it up the right way. Yay me. Okay. So here's the website, ResilientSLO.org, that you log on to. You'll see there's some generic stats down here. These are just, you know, things that we put in as hopeful goals. When it was launched originally back in April of 2022. So it's been a year. We are just now, thanks to the Cal Poly Fellows, really entering in a concerted outreach community engagement effort, which we hadn't been able to do prior to that due to capacity. Now we have 70 Cal Poly students. I'll talk more about them in a moment too, and introduce you to the ones who are logging on today. And they are helping us actually get out the word for this. So this is the basic platform. And when you log on, you can join the challenge here. And you can enter your account. When you go through, this is the basic, this is just the stuff you need to log in, right? An email, a password, your household name if you wanted to, otherwise it'll default to your email address. First name, last name, the city that you live in, and then you can create it. Now that's all you need to start an account. However, the more information you put in, the better results you'll get from taking actions later. So let's say I already have an account. So I'm going to log in, and let's just pretend that this is me here. We don't have to pretend, it actually is me. Okay. So this is me with a really fun picture here, because I've tried to edit it and it keeps saying edit it and it won't. So I have a really silly picture of myself with my tongue out. But so this is me in my account, my dashboard, once I've got an account. And so you're going to complete your profile here. And what it'll ask you to do is enter all, and I've already done all of this, but this is the optional information. So you do not have to do this, but it'll help tailor your experience if you do. So, you know, how many people live in the household? Do you share walls? Do you rent or own? All of these types of questions help tailor your own account's experience on here. And then once you do that, you get to explore these actions. So there are different action categories here: energy smart, clean energy home, shift your ride, blah, blah, blah. And within each of these action categories, let's say we're going to go to shift your ride. You're like, I'm interested in electric vehicles. Sure, let's go ahead and find out about that. So you click the category, and there's this nice little all of the categories have these little videos here. They're a couple minute videos that just tell you about what this category is. Like, why would thinking about shifting the way you go places matter? So quick little video here to explain the category. And then there are a ton of different actions down here that you can look into related to that category. And the really cool thing is that, let's say I want to say, all right, I'm kind of, you know, I've got a combustion engine car still. It's getting kind of old. I'm thinking about, you know, needing another car soon. So I want to find out more about electric vehicles. You know, I know Teslas are super expensive. There's no way I could afford those. Is there anything I could do? I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and click into this action category. And then there's more information here. So information about buying or leasing an electric vehicle. Every action category has this impact area here. So this will tell you if you choose to take this action, this is the impact you will have, or it will have on you, depending on which category you're looking at. So for here, I'm saying this is my car, a Kia Soul. I've already looked into this, so I put this in here. And it'll tell me if I take the action, how much money will I save a year? The carbon footprint, all of that. It's very cool. So then there's more information here about that category. So here's basic information. This one says how to find, sorry, the scrolling, I'm gonna have to scroll a little bit. Hopefully you don't get dizzy. So this is how to look for it, right? I don't know how to look for the right electric vehicle, or should I have a hybrid, right? Buying, leasing, what are the costs? All of that. This is gonna talk to you about, sorry, charging, right? Where I can charge, how I can charge, what are the different charging options? If I wanted to put one in at my home, what does that look like? The different speeds, all of that. And then, sorry, scrolling. Okay. And then finally, you're going to choose it and you're going to go. So that's awesome. Now, for all of those actions, now there's resources. So there's certain programs like here, get purchase guidance. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Awesome. Yeah, help me figure out how to buy one. I found out for the first time about all of these rebates, credits, grants. So for example, there are grants for low-income households, not just rebates, but grants also, upfront grants, which will also apply to used vehicles. This was interesting to me because I'm always thinking about what can actually be utilized and accessed by everyone here, right? Not just those of us who can own homes and have enough money to take these actions, but what can we do if we don't? These rebates and grants for low-income households can make it so that somebody could buy a new or used EV or hybrid vehicle. EV is electric vehicle, by the way, if you didn't know. I need to make sure to remember to point those things out. For the same or less than you would buy a used gas car because of the rebates. So there's a ton of really, really interesting information on here. Okay, I'm going to switch back over to here for a minute. Okay. And then there we go. So how you want to get involved. First of all, we want you on the site. We want you to go create your own accounts, look around, see what's out there and things that speak to you, right? We have the resilient action category, be resilient, which includes a ton of disaster preparation information. So would have been good for people to have, 3 weeks ago, but there are action items there that can walk you through how to prepare for floods or what to do after a flood, or how to put together your emergency go kit, or what to do in preparation of fires and whatnot. So log on, explore the actions, figure out things that speak to you. And then the best thing you can do, and it would be awesome if this group decides to do that, is to do this together with a team. And a team can be what we call a team, which would be, a couple family friends doing this together, or a community group where it's, usually 10 or more people doing it together, right? So church groups can do this, workplaces could do this, nonprofit organizations can do this, where you're doing it together. And that's nice because you have the accountability to each other. You have people to get together with. We have a plan for how that can work. And our plan includes setting up meetings once a month for anybody who's going to be in your ResilientSLO team. And we meet for once a month for an hour or more. We've got a sample agenda. You, of course, can do it however you want. but we've got a sample agenda to run you through, having some fun. And each month you're going to focus on a particular topic in here. So for example, right now with the Cal Poly College Fellows, which I am about to talk about, I promise, we are starting the Spring into Action Challenge. So the focus months right now, if you were to meet as a group, February is home energy. So let's say Mothers of Peace decided to go ahead and say, yes, we'd love to take this on and do this as a group. As many of our group who want to participate, that's great. We'll get together. You set up a date in February that works, and it's going to be a monthly thing. We hook you up with some students and we meet in February. And in February, it's first intro to the platform and then home energy. And we're going to talk all about what home energy electrification is all about, or weatherization, the ways to take these carbon actions in your home, and all the variety of those, right? No matter if you've got the ability to, replace appliances, or you're going to weather strip your doors, and we'll show you the resources to get that kind of thing done, right? Or making sure you've switched out your LED light bulb, to LED light bulbs, that type of a thing. So the students will come to you, they can lead you through that. The next month, March, the focus is on electric vehicles and transportation. So again, students will come to you, to your meeting, and we'll talk all about that and connect with those resources. We can do games and fun stuff. So it really is, it's not just like this right now where I'm just talking to you. It's going to be, these meetings are fun. They're group meetings that are fun. And because this fellowship technically ends in May, the month of May is going to be a celebration and a look at the accomplishments you've made so far. So, if you were to start in February, then in May, your group meets with your students, and the students will bring all the stats from everything you all have accomplished. And you get to say, oh my gosh, look at this. This group alone has decreased their carbon emissions by X%. And that's amazing. And we can have prizes and games and all sorts of fun to celebrate that. So we can keep this going for as long as you'd like. The students can be with you every month, or if you get to a point where somebody in your group's like, you know what, I've got this, I'm going to lead this, and you don't need us anymore, that's fine too. But we're there to help connect you, which brings me to the next slide, our Cal Poly Climate Corps Fellows. And fellows who are here, because I did see some of your names, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And I would love it if you would turn on your screen so you can give a little wave hello to folks. Let's see, I've got Wendy here. Wendy Yu is one of our fellows. Lily Stenslin is one of our fellows and actually worked or volunteered. Oh yeah, Lily, it's dark still, huh? Lily actually volunteered or interned with SLO Climate Coalition previously. So she was here around with the first launch of this site. So Lily has a lot of info there. And then, yes, and there's Wendy. Hi, Wendy, good to see you. And Haley is here too, although her video is not on, but she's around here. So these students are part of a brand new program. If you're not aware of it, it is the Californians for All College Corps program. And they all are able to receive, they applied for the program, were accepted, and anybody in this program up and down the state of California receives $7,000 throughout their school year here, with the expectation that they are going to provide 450 hours of service to whichever host organization that they've been paired up with. So Climate Coalition is super fortunate because we have, I think, between 6 or 8 College Corps fellows working on just other SLO Climate Coalition projects. So Barry Rands with electric vehicles, Green Transportation has a fellow. We've got fellows doing that, but we also have collaborated with Central Coast Climate Solutions. They are the organization that makes and puts out that platform. We've partnered with them, as well as Ecology Action, who is based up in Santa Cruz, but part of our Resilient Central Coast campaign. And we have 100 fellows right now working on these platforms and getting community outreach out, 70 at Cal Poly alone. So right here in SLO, we have 70 Cal Poly students who are right now taking this information, connecting people, showing them how to access all that they would need to access in order to choose some actions they can take on their own to help climate change. So far, the feedback has been tremendous. Everybody loves to have these young people coming and talking to them. They have so much excitement and energy and enthusiasm about this. So if your group decides to come on, or if you have a business or some other group that you think wants to get involved, we can come do this again. I can connect you with students. I can come do a presentation with them. They could do the presentation. They are ready to deploy with the purpose of helping people get hooked up with a platform and with taking climate action here. They're fantastic. So if you want to see any of them in person, you'll have an opportunity to do that this afternoon. If any of you are heading down to Mitchell Park this afternoon for the Women's March rally, right? Not a march, but a rally. We actually will be there. We have SLO Climate Coalition has 2 booths. One is just for ResilientSLO alone. There'll be several students there this afternoon, and you can meet them in person and talk with them there. Anyway, so thank you, students, for showing up today. And then I think that is just about it. Yeah, so create a profile, enjoy being a climate champion. It's super fun. You can ask me for any other ways you can get involved. And then that's it. I'm gonna, yeah.
All right,
Wait,
well,
I'm
thank
not
you.
gonna share my screen anymore. Oh, fantastic, because I was gonna stop sharing, but I did, so yay.
All right, thank you, Laura. Okay, now we could open it up for questions. So anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, Sherry and then Eric.
Yeah, I live right near Cal Poly.
Huh.
I know I would need lots of help in becoming a better energy saver in my house. And so how could what would the Cal Poly students do? What would I have them do? Can you give me some advice or some ideas, examples of what they would be doing?
Sure. Yeah. Well, what they can do and is really what they can do is a lot. What they will do for you depends on you. So first and foremost, they can help you get an account set up on this platform. They can walk you through that. They can do that virtually, right? If you want to do a virtual thing, they could meet up with you and help you do that. That's up to you. They can help familiarize you with that platform. So they can talk to you and find out the things that you're thinking about maybe starting with. So maybe it's something like, yes, your light bulbs. You haven't necessarily gone ahead and looked at all the light bulbs in your home, right? So they can help walk you through where you would find that information on the site themselves. At this point, we don't have any students that can come to your home and actually do those changes for you. Although an energy concierge service is something that a couple organizations, including City of SLO, are talking about putting together. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll get to that. You can call them green home visits. But anyway, we don't do that right now, but they can help walk you through the platform to help you start to figure out where on that platform you can find that information yourself. So they're really there to help you navigate that. They can also do more if you do want to get together with a group. So let's say, you've got a gardening club or a book club and you're thinking, I think my book club would be interested in doing this. We can go ahead and connect a student with you to do a similar thing like this. It wouldn't look quite like my presentation. They would be focused just on ResilientSLO. I was talking a little about SLO Climate Coalition in general, but they can be there to help you do that as well. And then if you were to go ahead and do choose to put together a team of some sort, they would be there to come and help facilitate monthly meetings that I had explained earlier, if you wanted them to do that. Again, some people say, hey, give us the agendas, which we do. Here's the agendas. You can run your own meetings and teams and you never have to talk to us again. That's fine if you want to do that. But they will also be there to actually do that facilitation for you if you wanted to do that. Does that answer it enough, Sherry?
Yeah, I see. It's primarily navigation.
Yeah, yeah. And helping you, you know, they can have those conversations too to help flesh out, you know, where are you in your house, right? So especially if you're looking through, actually, when you create the account, that does a lot for you because the questions that it answers, I mean, that it asks to establish your baseline, that really helps the platform then point to suggestions for you. So for example, if you already elect to use 100% renewable energy, which is an option you can choose right now through 3CE, Community Choice Energy. If you choose that already, then it's not going to try to tell you that that's an option anymore, right? So going through, putting as much information as you can in that first profile building stage will help you identify the things that might be something to look at, because it'll say things like, hey, tell us about your appliances. You know, what kind of, you know, do you have a washer and dryer in your house? What kind are they? Are they electric? Are they gas powered? They help you walk through that so that when you're done with that, you'll kind of have an understanding already of, oh, okay, these are the areas that they're asking me about. So those are the areas I might want to start thinking about.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. First, a compliment, which is climate change can make people feel overwhelmed and powerless. And I think the approach of what can we do in our own lives is a very mentally healthy one. I do have an area of skepticism about vehicle electrification, and this two things yesterday, just yesterday, a meeting I listened to and a meeting I participated in. I listened to California Energy Commission, where electrification is being used as a premise, as an excuse for the need to keep Diablo open. And then I was at Regional Transit Advisory Committee. We're looking at service cuts due to the immense costs of electrification mandates facing transit agencies, the huge capital cost of very expensive vehicles, and then the need to upsize the fleet to maintain a level of service with larger charging times, shorter distances between charges. This is likely to lead to decreased mobility for the people who are presently the solution, while non-drivers are being taxed to help drivers buy cars, which, as they proliferate, require expansion of the road system, a very heavily fossil investment. So how secure are we in the premise that vehicle electrification is a genuine path toward climate healing?
Oh my gosh, Eric, there's so much in there.
Yeah.
There's so much in there. Let's see, to try to answer what I can. I think your question, you know, how confident are we that electric vehicles is the path? That I think that depends on all of us. So I can't answer for anybody else. For me and what I know at this point, and that's really important for me to premise, it's at this point what I know. I feel that personally that electrification of vehicles is absolutely a part of resolving our transportation carbon emissions, carbon footprints, and reliance on gas. But anything you're looking at in any huge, you know, issue in our world, and certainly within climate change, there's no one answer, right? So if you'll see, like in the ResilientSLO slate, it'll also have talks about, you know, public transportation, taking public transportation, biking and walking, creating more, you know, building in a way that creates more walkability, within our neighborhoods, right? There is the spending wisely. So we're spending money locally, so we don't need the transportation as much to get from here and to get our things from here and there, right? So I feel, and I really am just speaking personally, that it's just such a multi-pronged solution. All of those issues with the electrification and the burden on our grid, even not even considering the Diablo Canyon potential, implications, which of course is, I think from what I remember is what even started Mothers for Peace in this area here, maybe, right? Yeah. So not even considering that aspect, there is definitely the push to get more electric vehicles on the road, and also at the same time, a huge need to figure out how we can make sure people can charge those, which is being looked at and worked on from multiple areas, from public agencies, private, nonprofit, all of that, right? So the city of SLO, for example, is looking at, what kind of incentives can they're looking at properties that they can build charging stations, public charging stations throughout the city. They're also looking at, what kind of incentives can they build in to encourage, especially like business owners who have parking lots, to put in charging stations. So it would be private, property, but charging stations that could be open, because there's, parking lots, for example, and businesses that, yes, they're busy during the day, but at night there's nobody in them. Right? If we can have charging stations there so that people at night can go and charge their cars, that's a solution. So there's a lot that still needs to be figured out. And a lot of people are working on all of these. There's no one perfect solution yet. So it's little bits here and there. I have not looked at the implications of, electrifying our state and how that might create a argument for keeping nuclear active and Diablo Canyon open. I have not looked at that. So I can't speak to that itself. I know that the whole, that the drive to electrify more parts of our lives did not start from an idea from Diablo Canyon, right? So there's a lot of other reasons why that would make sense to other people that aren't even considering Diablo Canyon. However, I can only imagine that PG&E is like, oh, yay, yes, electrify, because that does help them sell their point. But I haven't been watching that. So
thank you. I would just
Thank you.
for a consciousness of social justice in terms of if the non-drivers are asked to sacrifice while drivers are getting increased subsidies, that's definitely an issue to look at. And I would encourage everyone in the month to come to visit the website of the San Luis Obispo Council of Governments. The Regional Transportation Plan / Sustainability Community Strategy will be out for comments during the months of February and March. And this is a critical piece.
great.
All
right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Sheila, you had a question? You're muted.
Yeah,
There you
thank
go.
you so much. Thank you. So I am, of course, 100% on board with Eric. Eric, thank you. You speak my thoughts. I just want to assure everybody that not every electric vehicle is a great big bloaty, stupid, dumb car, or truck or bus, or like we're just going to solve the problem by just making our buses or our semis electric. And there are many, many little electric bikes. And then there are some obnoxious electric bikes. There are some great scooters, and many of our cities have those rideshare vehicles. And I think, there's a first and last mile for transit. We have a train up here in Petaluma. It goes from Larkspur all the way up to, we hope someday, Windsor.
Did you have a question?
What I want to do is ask if a nexus, if anybody sees a nexus between like Vision Zero, building better, safer vehicles, Molly, please let me ask this, okay? Smaller vehicles and this, I mean, it seems to me like there's a connection. And can that be seen? And then I have a second question on something that's happening here called Cool Block that is kind of like that, but this sounds a lot better. Thank you.
All right. Any response to that, or, yeah, I think we kind of, were there any further questions anyone had?
let me point out too,
Oh, okay.
just because we've talked all about electric vehicles right now, and that was the one action that I chose to just demonstrate in there, but the platform, it has a ton of actions, right? And if electrifying your ride is not something that you're interested in, that is fine. There's tons of other stuff there for you. So, our Eat Green, Waste Less category, right? That's talking about all the ways that we can lower our carbon footprint by the way we eat and the way we, get rid of waste. So there are a lot of different things. The platform is not just for electric vehicles. So if that's something that, that's the point, is that there's something there for anybody, no matter what you're interested in, and not everything there is going to be for everybody.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, good answer. Thank you.
Ace, yes.
One thing that you just mentioned, it might be a nice idea if instead of in addition to our carbon footprint, you included a radiation footprint if the electricity is being produced from Diablo Canyon, or a nuclear waste footprint or something like that. That would cover that problem. They'll latch on to anything, whether it's climate change or electric vehicles, for a reason to have Diablo Canyon. But what I actually wanted to say was, it was a wonderful presentation, and I was wondering if you were aggregating the information behind the scenes and wanted to present how well everybody was doing, and is there a part of the website that does that sort of thing, or are you planning for it, and so on. But I thought it was great. I thought you did a great job too. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ace.
you.
Yes, and we are just starting to look at information now, because it was really just starting to be launched last April at Earth Day. And then, launched, but then we didn't have the capacity to really do the outreach until we had these fellows on board. The data isn't all that exciting yet, but now that we have these fellows on board, we'll be reporting well for that program itself. So yes, and I mean, we can pull up and see, how many people are, it's a little bit tough because it does try to keep a lot of information personal and private. So if you go and set an account up, there's not that much that I can see from what you're doing. I can see, who's taken an action, but I can't see anything about your personal household. I can see what city you say you live in, but I don't necessarily know your neighborhood. So for example, we'd be really interested in saying which neighborhoods are really, taking this and making a change, and how can we, really celebrate and uplift a neighborhood. Right now, through the platform data, we don't collect neighborhood information. So all I know is, Joe lives in San Luis Obispo, and he chose to, do meal planning to help limit his food waste on this day. That's kind of all the information I have right now. But yes, we will be getting it out. The city of San Luis Obispo has paid for this platform for the last couple of years, and we are taking it countywide now also. So anybody who's paying for this definitely wants to see that data too, of course, right? So yes, we're trying to gain as much as we can from it.
All righty, great. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you very much, Laura. That was very definitely going to be looking at that website later on.
Good,
Yeah.
please do. And again, if you are in SLO and you can come to Mitchell Park this afternoon, we're going to have iPads out and students can help walk you through it in person if you want. So
All right.
yeah, thank you all, and reach out to me with any questions. Would love to talk more about this and put you in touch with students.
All righty. Thank you.
Laura.
Have a good day.
All righty.